Building a custom home can feel overwhelming, not because it's complicated, but because most people don't know what comes next. They hear terms, they get advice, they see pieces of the process, but no one really lays it out clearly from start to finish. So today, I want to simplify it and walk you through exactly how a custom home comes together, step by step, so you know what to expect next, and more importantly, how to stay in control of your project from beginning to end. Welcome back to the Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. I'm Rick Bell, and this podcast is here to help you understand the process, make better decisions, and enjoy building your home. Because when you understand the sequence, everything becomes easier. So let's start at the very beginning. Before anything is designed, before anything is built, it starts with your vision. What do you want to build? And how do you want to live? What matters most in your home? This is where most people rush, and it's where they shouldn't, because every decision that follows is based on the clarity you have right here. Once you have that vision, the next step is building your team, your builder, your architect, your designer, possibly your realtor or owner's representative. This is your foundation, and if you get this right, everything else becomes easier. We talked about this early on episode 1. Building the right team is one of the most important decisions you'll make. From there, everything moves into design. This is where ideas start turning into plans. Your floor plans, elevations, layouts, and early selections. But here's the key. Design should always be connected to the budget. And if it's not, you're setting yourself up for problems later. We covered this in detail in episode 2. Designing to your budget is critical if you want to avoid costly redesigns. Now, as your design develops, you start building your budget. This is where real numbers come into play. Not guessing, not ranges, actual costs based on your design. This includes construction, soft costs, and everything required to bring the project to life. And once that budget is built, you align it with your vision. At the same time, you're evaluating your lot, or if you already have one, you're validating that it works. Your soil conditions, drainage, utilities, zoning. All of these can affect your build. And if you want to understand how important this is, go back and listen to episode 7. We break down the full due diligence process. Once design and budget are aligned, you move into pre-construction. This is where things get real. Plans are finalized, permits are submitted, selections begin to lock in, and your schedule starts to take shape. This phase is all about preparation, because the more work you do here, the smoother construction will be. Then comes construction. This is where most people think the process really begins, but in reality, if everything before this was done right, construction becomes execution. The foundation goes in, the structure goes up, mechanical systems are installed, and your home starts to take shape. But here's something important to understand. Construction doesn't always move at the same pace all the way through. Some phases move quickly, while others take time. And knowing that ahead of time helps manage expectations. Now, during construction, decisions don't stop. Selections continue, adjustments happen, and sometimes changes are made. This is where communication becomes critical, because the more aligned your team is, the smoother everything flows. And as you move towards the end of the build, things start to tighten up. Finishes go in, details get completed, punch lists are created and worked through, and your home moves closer to completion. This is where patience becomes important, because the final phase is about getting everything right. And then you close. Your home is complete. You walk through it, You understand how everything works, and you take ownership. But here's the part most people don't think about. The process doesn't really end there. There's a transition: learning your home, understanding systems, addressing small items, and settling into how everything functions. Now, if you step back and look at this entire process, it's not complicated, but it is sequential. Every step builds on the one before it, and when you follow that sequence, everything becomes more manageable. So instead of asking, "What should I do next?" start asking, "Where am I in the process? And what should be happening right now?" Because when you understand that, you stay in control. And that's really the goal, not just to build a home, but to build it with confidence. And if you want to go deeper into any of these steps, we've covered each part of this process throughout the podcast. You can find everything at the Insider's Guide to Custom Homes, or tigtch.com, on YouTube, or on your favorite podcast platform. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who's thinking about building. And make sure you're following the show for more insights into the custom home building process. This is Rick Bell, and you've been listening to The Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. Build it right, build it informed, build it the landmark way. And most importantly, relax and enjoy the journey.